As I record this video, it's a very early morning here in California, and usually I record my videos in the evening, but this one rare because I had a long, drawn out discussion last night with a bunch of friends asking me about the midlife crisis, and this is the second time they did this with me. Well, friend group, but different set of friends. Interesting that I get dragged into this conversation. My opinion about midlife crisis, what happens once you cross the age 50 or in your mid 40s, and how long does this stay and what happens. So I thought I should record this because sometime, I think about a month or month and a half ago, I recorded a similar video. I'll find it. If I find it, I'm going to drop a link right here. But for now, let's talk about this. Obviously, this video is for you if you are in that range, like 45 to 55, maybe 60. Doesn't matter what profession you are in and what you do and all that. So this applies to everyone, each one of us. So what happens in this phase, why it happens, there is a lot to this, but I'm going to keep this primarily within the space of goals, actions, identity, habits. That's the area this channel is all about. I'm not going to go into other aspects. That way we can contain this video, we'll stay precise, and I can add value to wherever you are. Okay, so that said, what happens the second half? The subconscious programming takes over. The subconscious programming, in the sense that our unconscious mind, whatever has been the way it has been programmed, it takes over our existence. We live by a script, and the script becomes very predictable. It's all the same habits, all the same actions, more or less the same things, and our emotional imprints do not change as much. So we have gained a lot of exposure, experience over the years, and then now in the second half, it's just automation, more or less. Okay, all that is building the script, and then now is the automation. If you're into software engineering or in IT, you can understand this. Okay, let's break these things apart a little bit more and go individually into each one. The first and the foremost is called the lagging effect. Okay, so it has to do with identity. So lagging identity problem. What it means is you make decisions. And let's say you want to go work out, you want to go invest, or you want to do something, start something. You make a quick decision, but then the second half of you is not yet programmed. It still is holding on to the old side of you. So it's very hard for these things to happen. So a lot of effort is needed for the second half to be trained, and the model of the second half has to be trained so that it can kind of let go of the patterns of the first half and start seeing the possibilities from here on. So the old you is still dominant. So even though you make decisions to do things don't happen as quickly and as fast as they used to happen back in the day. So that's got to recognize, and you got to respect that element. But then now that you know that, then you need to do something about it. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about what you need to do towards the end. But that's the first one. The second one is the illusion of choice, in the sense that you believe you're making the choices, that something else is. Again, that's the unconscious mind. For example, you unconsciously walk around and you have a jar of cookies or something in the kitchen or someplace. You every time you walk into the kitchen, you unconsciously eat. Maybe let's say that you are in a party or you're with a bunch of friends or something, and then there is this dinner or something, and then at the end of the dinner, you still shouldn't be eating the dessert, but then you do reach out, and then you kind of, and then you justify, okay, I deserve this, something like that. So the second half of you is actually running the show, in the sense, first half of you is running the show. First half also probably you did the same thing, but the lag here is the second half is is essentially the way you justify that, the way you tell yourself, okay, fine, big deal, I already lived my life, whatever it is, I'm done with this, okay, fine, from tomorrow I'm going to restart all this, I'll be doing great, whatever. Now, I'm not saying this mindset doesn't exist in the first half, but it does. But then the point here is um, is what's called a post hoc realization. Um, so most decisions are post hoc realizations, and unconsciously make the decision, logically justify it. The conscious brain doesn't kick in and stop you from making the wrong decision in the moment. A pattern that is very visible after 50. Not that it's not visible in your 20s, but it is more predominant in post 50s and post 40s. Okay. That said, habits feel magnetic. The habits, you know, there is a lot of glucose the brain has to burn to learn something new, and it chooses not to. So new patterns don't get enough glucose, and the brain defaults to automation. And I was referring to that a little earlier. So you kind of become mechanical in this process. And this concept explains why willpower usually doesn't work. Okay. Yesterday I also made a point about something called the thermostat. I talk about this all the time on my channel. We set some goals, we put some energy, we want to work very hard. The energy is not meeting the demands of the goal. Sometimes the goals are lofty because we think that we know it all. So we set some really impossible, difficult goals, and then we have to have infinite amount of energy to go after those goals. We do not have that. So it's just like you crank up the heat, but then the heat has hit the ceiling and it doesn't go anywhere. Same thing happens to us. So we put some energy, we cannot do anything. So then the fallback thought is, again, we default back to our identity, and that is, it's okay, this is how life should be, and it's fine, whatever, right? This is all I can do, I cannot do more. So whatever the default identity is, you kind of fall back to that. So what is needed here is a new thermostat, a completely new way to look at life and look at things and look at situations. Talking of which, let's talk about some reprogramming. What are some of the reprogramming pathways that are available to you if you are going through any of these symptoms that I just described? I did talk about it also in another video. It's kind of this one lends itself into that. If I find it, I'll drop a link here. First and foremost, that you got to build some awareness drills. So you got to catch yourself making during that micro decision, whatever that micro decision is, just while you are making it, just as you are reaching out to get that dessert, you stop yourself and you say, no, this is not the place where I want to go. Then you go through what is called an identity rehearsal. The new you, whatever 30, 40, 50 years of your second phase of your life, that there is a new you in you, and that new you has to be seen before it can be realized. And for that, the identity rehearsal would be some visualization techniques, some seeing, as if you're accomplishing things, kind of mental, the unconscious programming part. As I said, if I find that video, I'm going to drop it here. Okay. And then comes a little bit of, cueing the environment that you are in. I talk about this also. So you want to go run, you want to exercise, prepare the environment night before. Set your environment up. For example, if I have to record videos in this car, I need to have my phone charged, my car tripod fixed in already. I have a monitor that I keep on watching here, sometimes here, depending upon where I place it. all these things are environmentally set. I just step into the car, I record my video. All I need to come into this car is an idea. Or when I stop the car, I should have an idea depending upon how much I was driving around. And I need to be zoned in into that idea. I need to be anchored myself into that idea. If I'm not anchored in, then you will figure that out. As simple as that. And then, um, you know, change takes time. It doesn't happen, uh, overnight. Um, so the just this car is not the environment. This even my thoughts are not the environment. My environment is beyond. For example, I'm here. I want to just quickly get a coffee now and then go to the gym. But um, when I walk into the coffee place and people I meet, or I walk into the gym, I say hello in the front desk and go inside. Every conversation acts is an element in that environment. So it's just not what you think about yourself when you are yourself, but it is how you are interacting with people outside. So this car is the environment where I'm recording, and this is a contained environment. The house is a contained environment. I step out of that, I talk to people, that there is an environment outside the environment, and all that has to be managed for all these things to work and change. And for that to happen, you need to be careful of your languaging, you got to be careful of your behavior, you got to be very aware. So this is where the not only a micro decision awareness has to be in place, but also there has to be a macro awareness that has to be in play. Okay, that's all for now. um, those are some of my thoughts. I will ensure that this video also goes to my friends who I was in conversation with yesterday. And wherever you are, you be safe. And if you believe this video was helpful to you and you got some ideas, some thoughts, click that like button. And if you subscribe to the channel, I'll be in front of you at this point every day on a consistent basis. And if you leave a comment, then we can have a conversation too. Okay, that's all for now. You take care of yourself, and I'll be with you as early as tomorrow. Bye now.